Strength.
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 Strong.
Pride.
Powerful.
Inspirational.
Unity.
Community.
Love.
Struggle.
Supportive.
Care.
Uniqueness.
Beauty.
Right.
Multifaceted.
Resilience.
Sisterhood.
Talent.
Personal.
Compassion.
Loving.
Nurturing.
And just incredible.
My grandma would do menu A for everyone else, and then she would do menu A.2 for the boys. So there would be like, oh, this meat is special for them because they like it, or this yogurt flavor, don't eat that because your brother likes it like that. And it was never done in a harsh way. It was never like, we would never complain. It was so internalized in my family. But I soon understood that they were treated different. And the idea wasn't that they were treated different. It's that they were entitled to feel, to eat, or to kind of like ask something different.
Not being allowed to wear certain things because they were kind of deemed as boyish, or being able to take part in certain activities, learning to cook a lot earlier than like the younger boys in the family, and having to do the cleaning, that kind of stuff.
Being encouraged to like not be as boisterous, read and do like girly things. And
It was in the summer, and like I had to wear a dress, which again is a whole other thing. But I was so insecure about having like hairy legs, and I remember noticing like, oh, that's what boys have, and I felt so insecure about it. And I literally would have been like 6, and I remember asking my mum to help me shave my legs, which I'm just like, as an actual child.
If you expressed an interest in certain sports, like say you wanted to play
football, and I used to love playing football.
My cousins were playing football.
it's like the association that girls wouldn't be up to the standard of boys, so they'd have to have a separate training.
Everyone used to call me a tomboy. I didn't want to be a boy, I was a girl. So I think I just stopped playing because of that.
I wanted to go play, and I was 6, 7. My uncle was like, girls don't play football. You can't come play. You know, ridiculous. But I remember thinking, what?
Harassment when you kind of like walk in your everyday life, or go to certain places like the gym where you just want to work out.
From such a young age, feeling so in the male gaze, walking to school, walking to and from school in my school uniform, in skirts, and men just like beeping all the way and harassing a child.
But definitely people pleaser, and wanting to make everyone around me happy, and sometimes prioritizing other people over me. And I particularly feel that as a woman, that it feels like I should be doing that rather than I need to do that.
Like being very aware of how I come across. If I come across like this, I'll come across as weak. Or if I assert myself, then I'm gonna look like a bitch.
Looking at the pay gaps within the workplaces, and sometimes not feeling as comfortable in interviews and positions of leadership, and especially with the crossover intersection between gender and race.
Not being taken seriously by like my peers. I work mainly in research, and sometimes I might say something and it'll be like, okay, and then someone kind of says the same thing, and it just becomes like, you know, this revolutionary idea.
As a woman, it doesn't matter what you look like, you get judged based on your appearance.
If you don't look this way, then you're not going to be taken seriously, and people won't listen to you unless you present in this way.
So I feel like some women are so critiqued for not looking feminine enough, and some women are so critiqued for looking too feminine. Sometimes I get people say to me, oh, it's so funny, you'd never think that you'd be clever, or you never think you'd be at university, or you never think you'd be studying classics or whatever else. But it's like, if I was a boy and I was blonde, would people say that?
The constant self-doubt.
Overall self-doubt.
Struggling to be decisive in my decisions and actions.
Constantly second-guessing yourself, constantly thinking, is this okay? Am I doing okay? As I'm sure men also second-guess themselves, but I think we do have that layer on top, gender-wise.
Well, other than the women's toilets at a club.
Being able to connect and share experiences with other women.
Being around other women.
I love the sisterhood. I love having my women around me.
The friendships and the relationships, which I think are very different between females than they are between like male friends. I feel like with my friends we're all very like touchy, cuddly, we're all very soft and we're all very there for each other, which are very like typically female traits, but certainly do not apply to everyone. But yeah, I think that's one of the things that I love about being a woman is my friends and those kind of relationships.
My strength. So I'm not particularly strong, but I think mentally, emotionally, all that kind of stuff, I have this kind of strength that I just think innately comes from being a woman.
Being able to have role models who I've had in my life and in my family, to be able to kind of build and within myself and then pour out to other women around me as well.
Being able to just like connect to this intuition of like care and empathy, and really being able to feel people's feelings and like support them.
Like femininity and like womanhood is such a scale that you have this like ability to express yourself as much as you want through your gender, but then there's still a sense of unity that you belong to something like that unifies you all. And like particularly my understanding of like womanhood is something that's so non-judgmental, and it's like it's so broad that you can fit anywhere within that, and I love that, and I think that's what makes it so interesting and what makes women as a collective so interesting, and which is particularly why you should never be generalized, because there's so much kind of differentiation. It's such a like pleasantly loose term.
Just give me some ladies to hang out with. My photography business, running my own photography business, and particularly my ladies project, where I've interviewed women and photographed over 150 women and had exhibitions and books.
Getting into a PhD program.
Being elected as officer when I was at university, so I went to uni in Sheffield, and I was like one of 8 sabbatical officers. I was the sports officer. And I think that we'd had a really long line of male sports officers as well, up until the officer before me was female, and then I was female. And I think since then it's always been the ladies, which is quite a nice change. At the end of our varsity, I got to like lift the trophy in our like ice. So our big final was at the ice skating. So there was like 8,000 people in the arena, and I got to lift the trophy in front of like, oh my god, it was scary, but yeah, it was amazing.
Me and 2 other girls and 2 other boys have like formed a society which is in the process of being ratified, which is called Internationalization Society, and a lot of our work is with like working on cultural competency and things across different cultures, and I think that that's something that I wouldn't have had the confidence to have done before, and just like being able to make your mark in something that's so big as university.
My vulnerability, sometimes it may be seen, or sometimes it may be deemed as a weakness, but being able to overcome that and say, you know what, these are the things that I'm going through, this is why I'm sharing it, and being able to have that confidence and authenticity in doing so.
Dove sharing the neon moon like pictures, and I just love like some hairy gals being on like an international campaign. So that I'm pretty proud of.
My life's greatest achievement. Oh my god, no, it's not. My life's greatest achievement, it's just coming into my head. Meeting Taylor Swift.
The financial independence. So that is a big one for me as a woman. Not because I don't really know where it comes from, because it wasn't a struggle for me, or it wasn't something related to my private life, but to me, being independent financially, then it can lead you to many other freedoms and open you any other gates.
Definitely Greta Thunberg, I think. And she's so like confident and strong-willed, and knowing that what she's doing is right, and that her gender, her age, her background doesn't need to like impeach on that. I think that's so inspiring to have that level of like confidence and commitment to your cause.
Is anyone that's passionate. So whether it's my mum, my sister, my best friend, if you're passionate about something, you inspire me.
My housemate, who's like kind of, as a mature student, gone back to uni and she's studying medicine, she does all this work and it's amazing. And then there's all these people in the media, all these athletes, people I've worked with, there's too many.
My grandma is probably right at the top of the list of a woman that inspires me. From my very earliest memory to right when she passed, and still as she lives on, she has been the biggest inspiration. Coming to this country, setting up her life, building things, not giving up, being able to instill lots of different things within me to help me keep on going. She's definitely been an anchor within me.
I'm just gonna go back to my grandma. She's been really like patient and calm and creative, and she's really independent. She takes no crap from my granddad.
I would say my mom inspires me the most.
My mum.
My mum.
As too many people said their mum.
With her positivity and zest for life.
A legend. And she's like, down with so much, it gives me hope that I can do the same.
So she became disabled when she was in her mid-30s. She's also a doctor. And they just basically told her during her rehabilitation physiotherapy, oh, you should focus on being a mum, being a wife. I kind of have my own dreams, my aspirations, and she basically kicked ass, and she continued being a doctor, and she also teaches at St. George's University now. Fantastic. She's all the things that I think it means to be a woman. She's strong, she's loving, she's resilient.
The myth about womanhood that should be busted is that we're all the same. We are all goddamn individuals, and we cannot be generalized into one thing.
When we're expressing our emotions, it's either seen as being emotional, being weak, rude, or sassy. Whereas if you were to look at men, it's deemed to be in charge, being a leader. They have different sorts of narratives and connotations. So let's bust that myth.
Girls mature faster than boys.
Women are hysterical, and that we can't keep control of our emotions. And I think ever since even young secondary school age, you'd get if you'd snap at someone, or someone would be annoying you and you tell them to go away, it'd always be the comment of oh, she's on her period. And it's why is that? That's got nothing to do with anything. And it's this idea that when women express a strong emotion towards something, or they're being hysterical,
that women are weak, that they just sort of are very emotional and this kind of stuff. No, women are strong. Very strong.
Basically the misconception that feminism is all of these women that are just putting men down and just want to be superior. If you have a stronger opinion, a more polarized opinion, a more polarized view, then social media is going to give it a higher platform. All of the people that are kind of co-opting the movement in a way, with all of these polarized views that aren't actually in line with the objectives and goals of the movement. So much information out there. There's always going to be something that you're going to read that's going to tell you something that you don't like about a movement or a cause. And so just try and research fully and be critical thinking about what information you read, and to just have a diverse range of literature and opinions that you listen to, because with everything the internet's such an echo chamber, and so I think it's so important for us for any kind of activism to have more of a rounded view.
I would like all women to understand the importance of money management and having a financial plan for their future.
Better sex education, full stop for everyone. We need to be talking about consent. We need to be talking about vulvas, vaginas. We need to be talking about pleasure. The list goes on, but better sex education.
Mad to think it's the 21st century and there's still no women in so many senior positions of companies. So women get into these positions, in order to excel, they don't have to behave like men. So quite oftentimes if they do go through the characteristics of what they're looking for in the company, it's things which are stereotypically male, and like this whole idea that you have to work yourself into the ground and constantly be working all these crazy hours. But if a woman decides she wants to leave and go on maternity leave, if it doesn't provide her to be able to do that, then you're not providing an inclusive part for it.
People standing up for women and not being silent. There are different ways we can do that, whether it's through social media, online things, who you're choosing to speak at your events, wherever it might be there for women in a genuine way.
Education for all girls in the whole world. I think from the ground up, education changes everything. It empowers you. It makes everything more equal, and education for all women.
Legal abortion around the world for everyone, for every woman, like no matter which country, and probably the ban on forced marriage.
Just ensuring safe spaces for women, and it sounds crazy to say that, doesn't it? Like, how is that even a thing that we're having to push for? But again, I think because we have made so many positive changes and we're in such a privileged place in comparison to our ancestors, sometimes it can feel like there's not that much to change and there's not that much that can be improved. But the day-to-day experiences of a woman, when you realise that you're all experiencing the same challenges, you realise that it's not actually okay, it's not actually normal, it's just been normalised by the society that we live in. So
Free the nipple. I just think we need to desexualize women's bodies, let them wear what they want, look around how they want, not say that it's distracting. So free the nipple. Mainly to just shed light on stories, creations, discoveries that otherwise have been erased by sort of male historians or just patriarchal society in general.
To look, I think, to places where you need to bring women up, whether that's industries, locations, fields.
I think it's really important to have a moment in time to celebrate. It's nice to have 1 month where it's about this and we bring our issues to the forefront.
It's important to remember
these history months, they're about everyone that fought to give us the freedoms that we have today.
And to be grateful for the sacrifices and the pioneers and trailblazers before us, but also to kind of realize how much we still have left to do.
I think there's an element of we are here because women and people in the past did things for us to be here, and it's only knowing what they did that we know that we still have things to do. So I would say to me is a way to reflect, a way to learn, a moment where we understand, oh, so I have this privilege because that person did that for me.
Starting conversations, I think although it seems so obvious to us who all work in a students union environment, and we kind of champion all this stuff all the time and we think about it really regularly, I think there's actually so much we forget, because we're in this bubble, how many people don't understand about gender inequality. And
when there are inequalities that are still going on that shouldn't be, it's so important to bring to the forefront the amazing things that women have done, are still doing, are going to continue to do as well. So just highlighting those parts within Women's History Month. Although we know that women do amazing things all year round, it brings it to the forefront and also encourages our allies to be able to stand with us. So that's what I hope that Women's History Month does mostly. It's great to be able to celebrate women, but we are all in this together.